if I ever make enough money to pay any of you, I will pay you guys, okay? So far, I have made like no money off of this, okay? But if we guys, that's your motivation, okay, youth? We can have ourselves a mod pizza party. It'll be fun. Wait, I haven't streamed? You have to start somewhere, Jack. Look, I am extremely happy with where we are right now. Like, are you kidding me? I just had 30 people watching me. Like 2 weeks ago, I had like 10. Why is it always why does wait? Why is it always the bottom? I don't know the context of your conversation, Revolt, but that seemed oddly sexual. I should go back and be born with an emerald mine. Oh, yeah, I mean, it was a mistake. It was a mistake not to be born with an emerald mine, really. Because bottoms are fun. Do I have any plans for how to get bigger? My plans for how to get bigger is just talking about how awesome and based market socialism is, and trying to convince people that I'm right, which I can do because the arguments for market socialism are extremely good and based in fact. So, I have to pull up my socks. So yeah, my goal and plan is to keep streaming consistently every weeknight, and to talk about how we can make our world a better place and the concrete things we can do to get there, like it's just that, like, guys, it's not, these aren't hard arguments to make. Like, we know that, like, if you house homeless people, it reduces the general cost to society as well. We know that already, so why don't we just do that? Why don't we just follow through? So, like, these are the certain small specific issues that I feel like we can make good cases for and improve the world. And moreover, I think that these are things that we can make good arguments for to liberals. Like, I don't want to just appeal to, lefties, though I certainly appreciate lefties, the people on the left who want to support me. I appreciate them, but I want to win over these liberals, And Sir Fontaine, I would even go a step further. Like, I don't think that my positions are particularly European, because largely I think that European countries adhere to a certain system of capitalism that I disagree with. However, I think that there are good systems in place that we could adopt to transition to it. Like, how in America we're like, yeah, Sweden's socialist. Well, like, I know people from Sweden. Sweden ain't socialist, people. But you know what? I think we can make America socialist. I really do. And you know why? I think that a socialist America would be a freer and more prosperous America. So those are my basic positions. Wait, you're talking about improving the material conditions of the people? And that's so socialist, no way. True. I know this is completely off topic, but do you have any tips on creating local activist orgs? I've been working on one for like 3 months, and it's been decent, but I want to do the best I can. I mean, honestly, the best advice I can give you is just whatever you're going to do it consistently. Like, have consistent meetings, have consistent activities and plans. Follow through on those things, because I think where a lot of local activism tends to fall apart is when it comes to following through and being consistent. So if you can do both of those things, I think you're doing way better than most, It's important to note that even white men didn't choose to be white men. True. It's true. We have a much bigger social apparatus, but we are indeed plagued by neoliberals in Europe as well. Exactly. So I want to have discussions, have dialogue that can reach these people, or at the very least arm other lefties to try and reach these people. Like, I'm not going to say that I have any foolproof like guaranteed method to convert liberals or neoliberals, but, like, you know what? We got to try. Like, literally the course of our planet depends on our success, okay? Like the existence of a solid society in a century depends on whether or not we are able to reach these people over the next few years, you know? Can we take ideas from multiple different types of policy? Does that sound crazy? There's no common ground. Depends. I think you would need to ask me a more specific question, Sir Fontaine, because that's quite broad. Recount every state. That way we can watch Trump lose twice. I mean, guys, Trump has already said he's going to try running in 2024, so I think on some level he knows that he's lost. The act of growing bananas is making bananas extinct. True. Also, the act of growing bananas is apparently enough to have the United States invade you and overthrow your government. Hello, Soggy Napkin 2. Welcome to the stream. I'm running behind in the chat. I'm trying to catch up. This is why the candy bananas don't taste like bananas. They taste like... Wait, Revolt Rise, is that true? Is that why banana candy doesn't taste like banana? Are you pulling my leg? Is that an actual thing? I don't know enough. Yes, Amory? Yes, I am trans. Hello. American sports are socialist. Oh man, boss, I would love for you to explain that in greater detail. Do you think progressives can pull off educating neolibs and Republicans? No, I don't think we can pull off educating Republicans. Again, I'm not going to say it's not worth trying, but like if your Republican family has already gone down the rabbit hole with Trump, I don't necessarily know if there's going to be any way we can reach those people going forward. You know, like we literally can't argue against like their worldview. Like their entire worldview is like, yeah, there's a secret organization led by a guy named Q who posts on 4chan, and there's a secret operation by the president to bring back JFK Jr. to run as his vice president. Even though that didn't happen, it just means that JFK Jr.'s out there somewhere working to save kids from sexual slavery. And also, the Democrats are both liberal cucks, and also they're the most powerful force to ever exist on the planet. And also the coronavirus was a manufactured threat by the deep state. And also like you understand, like we can't reach these people when they're so divorced from reality. Like I guess the Republican plan has just become like, you know, we can't base our arguments for our positions on facts anymore, so we're just going to completely leave facts in the dust, and we're going to argue based on feelings, you know? We'll just manufacture our own reality. Though I do think there is one way we can win over Republicans. Exactly one. And that is by giving them policies and things that directly improve their quality of life. I think that's the one way we can reach these people, because they can't believe anything else that they don't see or experience themselves. So the one way we can reach Republicans is by winning as socialists. At least in my opinion, you know? Let's see, like taking some policies from other countries / keeping our own. Yeah, of course. There's like a famous saying, and I might be kind of bastardizing it a little bit, Sir Fontaine, but you know, there are no original ideas. So yeah, we should look to other countries to see what works and steal those policies. Yes, absolutely. What's crazy is it kind of feels like the election is over when Trump says it's over, not when they finish counting votes. Exactly. That's insane. Let's see. Lol, his name is not Q. That's what he called. Yeah, I know his name isn't literally Q, dipshit. I know that. Yes, I am aware. Holy shit. What are my thoughts on guns? Socialists should have guns. Q said I'd say that. Oh gosh. Very important political question with a lot of relevance to American society or modern society. Should I continue to watch the stream or do my homework, or both? You should do both. Or at the very least, if I'm distracting to you, you should mute the stream and continue watching just to keep my metrics up, you know? Solidarity. But seriously, do whatever's best for you, okay, comrade? Um, the richest sports teams have to share their money with the rest? Do you mean with the rest? Boss, I don't think that's socialism, but okay. Chiming in, I have to admit I like firearms more than I do people in general. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Socialism doesn't improve anything. Oh, but it does, comrade. Um, well, exactly, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Calamari? Calamari? Um, I think that we can win over capitalists. I think capitalists largely are overinflated in our society. Most people in the United States are not capitalists. Most people in the United States who think that they are in favor of capitalism are actually in favor of wage slavery. And I think that that's a fundamental difference. I think if you demonstrate to most people that their lives as workers would be fundamentally improved by involvement in a worker co-op system, I think that that is an argument that goes a long, long way. For example, did you know that in this country, if our wages had kept track with our productivity, the average salary in the United States would be over $100,000 today? It split in the 1970s. That all that excess money, that if you're not making $100,000, all of that excess money is just going directly to the top of these corporations. And those people do not represent the majority of people in this country. What are your thoughts on Mexicans? Based and awesome. Yeah. Quit school, become a full-time Twitch viewer. Yeah, it's a very lucrative market. True. 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 Um, Socialism equals communism, and it's no good for anyone. Well, that's not actually what those terms are not actually interchangeable. They both mean distinctly different things, and if you can't make that distinction, you need to understand more, I think. We do need socialism and communism commands. This is true. I will endeavor to do that, comrade. It's difficult to convert capitalists to socialism because capitalism actually works and socialism never works. Well, no, incorrect. Socialism is when the government does stuff. Yeah, do I need to play the thing, guys? Do I need to play? I think I need to play the meme. Okay. Now I need you to know that this is a person making fun of your basic conception of how socialism works.
Socialism is when the government does stuff. And it's more socialism the more stuff it does. And if it does a real lot of stuff, it's communism.
Anyway, that was somebody making fun of your position. So, just so you know, I want you to understand that you're getting made fun of. Let's see. Exactly. Good old Professor Dick Wolf. Hey, I'm a middle-class person who makes money and loves capitalism and doesn't share their money. This isn't trying to cap spam. It's meant to be me on a megaphone. Well, yeah, but you being a middle-class person doesn't mean that you're a capitalist. You understand that, right? Like, there are plenty of people in the middle class who got there via wage slavery. But, like, you understand that, like, fundamentally you're getting ripped off on some level, right? Like, McDonald's wouldn't be able to make, like, billions of dollars every year if it didn't pay its workers, like, garbage. I think fundamentally I'm just in favor of not paying people garbage. I think that would be generally a good thing. Like everyone, too much of anything is bad. I believe in a mixed economy where we have free market capitalism with viable social safety nets that don't provide subsistence but motivation to become self-sufficient. Well, the issue with that is that capitalism ultimately always moves against the social safety net. And because capitalism ingrains itself in our government to get more favorable policies, you ultimately have capitalists who push incessantly over a long period of time to cut social safety nets so that their workers are more dependent on their wages, which makes them less mobile, which makes them more dependent on the company, and that gives the company more power and authority and is generally benefits the people who control that company. Like that's the issue, right? Like, I'm fundamentally in favor of people having control over their own lives rather than companies controlling people's lives. I think that generally companies do things that are in the best interest of companies and not in the best interests of people. And at the very least, when a government is doing things, it is at least on paper supposed to be doing things for the people's interest. A company has no such obligation. Let's see. Communism is diet socialism. What? What? Roof, I don't think you know what you're talking about at all. Socialism never worked. Once again, me on a megaphone. Depends. It depends on on how you define socialism, but I would argue that socialism has never genuinely been tried anywhere. If governments were created for and by the people for themselves, shouldn't its priority be number one to take care of them instead of itself? Why is military spending $600 billion instead of healthcare? Not even all healthcare more? Yeah, I would be in favor of cutting the military budget to support like healthcare. Yeah. Prince Harpseal, are you're dancing over there? I appreciate you. Let's see. We learned about socialism and communism in school, and it's terrible. If you need someone to rant about how shit the public school education is about leftist stuff, I will go off. Yeah, public education is not super good about this kind of stuff. Oh, let's open this Gizmodo article. What? This is totally unrelated to what I'm talking about, but I'm 100% gonna read the shit out of this article later. Because socialism never gets anything done other than promoting sharing is caring. My dude, I think you need to remember that at least under an ostensibly socialist banner, a country made up of almost entirely peasants rose to become a dominant world power for the greater part of a century that even American capitalists feared. Okay? Like I think we need to understand something about this system possibly works. Could you explain the difference between Marxist communism and socialism? Absolutely. So, Calamari, I don't know why I can't say your name. I'm very sorry. The basic difference between socialism and communism, as I understand it, is that socialism has primarily two different aspects. One is worker control over the means of production, and two, decommodification of a significant portion of the economy. Now, this doesn't mean, by the way, that you can't have independent markets. It doesn't mean that you can't have market activity. It doesn't mean that you can't have any of that, okay? All it means is that workers have to have control over their own workplace via some sort of democratic system, and there have to be some things that are removed from market control that the government just provides free of cost. Now, if you want communism, you have a third step, and that is the dissolution of the state, which also doesn't mean, it gets complicated, but it doesn't mean that you don't have a government. It just means you don't have a state. Oh, I'm really important. Hello, rating party of 189 people. Hello, how is everybody? I'm just talking about socialism and communism. Hello. How is everybody? I'm a market socialist. My name is Jack. Welcome to my channel. It's lovely having you all here. So, yeah, socialism, you have worker control over the means of production, you decommodify a significant portion of the economy, and then communism is when you also, on top of those first two things, dissolve the state. So there are many different ways that you can achieve these three different qualities. However, my personal view is that we should do it via evolutionary socialism. Evolutionary socialism is basically working within the democratic structure of a government to get the vast majority of people on board with a given socialist change. And this is as opposed to revolutionary socialism, which is taking the state by force and then using the power of the state to enact socialist change. Now, this is also where a lot of people get really, really confused about socialism, because generally we have a couple of our biggest, the biggest like go-tos when it comes to what socialism is, tend to be the USSR, China, and Cuba, right? Now, I don't know enough about Cuba to talk about its internal structure, but basically, when you go to, like, when you take a look at the USSR, when you take a look at China, you had a popular uprising of ostensibly socialist people taking control of the state and then stalling out. So instead of shifting over to like a socialist decommodification where the workers have control over their workplace, instead the state centralized power and focused primarily on survival. So this is like one of the big issues here, because a lot of people look at that and they say, well, socialism is just when a bunch of people who claim to be socialists take control of the state, and then that's it. Except that in socialism, you actually have to do the things that make it socialist. You have to give workers control over the means of production, and you have to decommodify a significant portion of the economy. So this is oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I got really behind in chat. Let's see. You realize that under said socialist banner that become a world power, they gain power by starving their population. Yes, exactly. I'm not saying this is exactly why, by the way, I'm a evolutionary socialist and not a revolutionary socialist. I think revolution tends to have a lot of inherent instability and generally leads to negative consequences. You know, you can see the revolutions against feudalism, for example, like the French Revolution. Generally, not a super stable outcome. We got Napoleon out of that, an entire world war. So not super great. Yeah, please feel free to hit that follow button, everybody, if you're finding this interesting at all. This is basically what I talk about most of the time. Yeah, so when we're looking at these different countries, we have countries that use the aesthetics of communism or socialism, but they aren't necessarily actually implementing communist or socialist policies. You can find a couple of them in there, but largely they're highly centralized, state-controlled economies that are run to differing degrees in a capitalist way. Oh, good night, Dezo. I hope you feel better, okay? I'm sorry about your broken arm. When I'm saying I'm for a socialist United States, what I mean by that is actually getting through policies that enable workers to have democratic control over their workplaces, and also in favor of decommodification of certain aspects of our economy for the general welfare of our citizenry. So, for example, like our Constitution guarantees people life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? So why not decommodify, to a certain degree, housing? This doesn't mean that we have to go with armed guards to everyone's house and evict them, or show up one day with a vagrant named Jeff, and Jeff just has to live at your house now. But what it does mean is that, we have certain government complexes or apartments that you can go live in for free, and that's it. Like, you just can live somewhere if you're homeless. So am I for a mixed socialist and capitalist economy? I'm for a market socialist system. So what that means is, largely, we decommodify the things that are necessary for people to live in a modern society. You know, water, certain basic foodstuffs, housing, electricity, internet, things like that, healthcare being a big one. We decommodify these things and just provide them to everyone, but that doesn't mean, for example, that you can't go out and work at a worker co-op to better your quality of life, whether that's going out to the the market-based grocery store to buy Pop-Tarts rather than going to your local food bank for bread, or it's it's buying a better, the typical like house with the white picket fence and a dog, like things that better your quality of life. These are things that we would still work for, the luxuries of life, but we wouldn't be forced to deal with this coercion of capital where we either work or we die, like that's our current system, by the way. Like you either work or you die, and tough nuts if you can't work. You guess you have to like subsist on scraps from our aging, decrepit, and slowly eroding social safety net. The idea of socialism requires equal distribution. To enact distribution methods that are equal, they need a structure that dictates what is equal and where said resources go to. Therefore, at the very core, some people already have power over resources more than others, and you create an even more restrictive hierarchy. Hence why socialist economies inevitably have devolved into people like Pol Pot, Pinochet, Stalin, Maduro, Mao. Except the issue is that I think that largely by switching to policies in our country that incentivize worker co-ops, we're not Thanos snapping our economy into socialism. Instead, what I'm advocating for is a slow transition to worker co-ops, because largely I tend to think that worker co-ops are far more efficient. Generally, if you look at the research data that is out there, you'll find that worker co-ops are between 9 and 15% more efficient than private businesses. On top of that, funds generated or profits generated by worker co-ops tend to be more equitably distributed amongst the workers. For example, people who are at the top of worker co-ops generally aren't being paid 3,000 times what the average worker is being paid. And on top of that, worker co-ops tend to be more resilient to harsh economic conditions. And the best part is we already have these things in the United States. I just want to make it easier to make worker co-ops. And on top of that, I think that there are, generally, worker co-ops are more efficient and effective when it comes to giving back to their local communities and to the government itself. So there's less incentive to hoard wealth in a system wherein your basic needs are going to be met no matter how well you do. You're more able to take risks. You're more, and this is something that I think average people should have, average people should have the ability to take risks to start their own companies. Yeah, I do think that. Efficient, I'm not so sure. Well, again, this is based on some study data. I don't have it handy right at the moment because I wasn't planning on talking about the efficiency of worker co-ops. However, I have seen multiple studies that indicate it's between 9 and 15% more efficient, largely as a result of the fact that people working at worker co-ops tend to be happier. And, generally, also on top of that, if we're meeting everyone's basic needs, which we would be in a socialist society, people work better when they're not starving or lacking health care or, all of these other things. People tend to work better when their basic needs are met. This is a really fundamental aspect of if you go to a manager's program or a worker seminar or something, this is stuff that they teach you. Can you explain how a worker co-op works? Yeah. So essentially, a worker co-op is introducing democracy into the workplace. So everyone in the workplace essentially gets a say in how the company is run, how people are paid, how profits are used, etc. So everyone at the company gets one vote, and how this system might work varies differently from worker co-op to worker co-op. There are a bunch of different ways that it can be implemented. However, generally, what happens is that periodically the worker co-op will have like a meeting wherein everyone can vote on different policy positions or how the company will pursue its business going forward, et cetera, et cetera. And like different employees can also like nominate different topics to be voted on. And then that sets the policy agenda for the company for the next like quarter or so, half year maybe. Do you just fight kids in Twitch chats all day? Wait, who am I talking to? I'm not fighting people in Twitch chat. I'm just trying to explain myself. So generally, this is how this works, right? Like I'm making like it's a very general, but like I've worked on making my own worker co-op. Like I have a pretty good idea of how these things work. So you can implement this in different ways. Basically, the generalized workers vote on different policy. And when it gets to like a larger level of corporation, I think we can kind of turn to the Mondragon Corporation in Spain, for example, which has thousands of employees, and that can get kind of complicated, but they've largely been able to figure this out by offering a two-tiered stock system wherein people with control over the company get tier 1 stock and general investors get tier 2 stock. And that way, the tier 1 investors have say in the company, and no matter what, will have more say than the tier 2 investors. So like a democratic workplace, they still have managers, they still have bosses, though again that largely depends on the size of the co-op and how it's structured. For example, you can structure co-ops to be flat, wherein there are no bosses or managers, but that largely only works on like a small scale as far as I know. But generally it works just like a traditional company, except that the workers actually are able to dictate policy to everyone from the very top of the company to the bottom. This is, by the way, also why a lot of people tend to look at oh gosh, what was it? I'm just gonna say something. It was very based and good, I promise you, but I totally forgot. Let's see. Oh, someone had to be banned. Okay. Nothing prevents worker co-ops from existing now under the current system. If you want legislation to coerce private-owned businesses into adopting a democratic model, that's never going to happen. Except you're making a lot of assumptions, my friend, because I don't want to coerce businesses right now into becoming worker co-ops. What I do want instead is I would like a government system to be able to provide loans to worker co-ops that are just starting out. Largely because a lot of the people who want to form worker co-ops tend to be less wealthy, and it takes a lot of money to start a worker co-op. So, and because worker co-ops are more in the best interest of a government, and because worker co-ops tend to be more successful than their private counterparts, they have a higher success rate by about 15%. I would say that it's a better investment for the government to make. And yeah, I would say that we should have a government loan program to incentivize the creation of worker co-ops. And on top of that, I think that if private companies fail, especially if they're large private companies, being that worker co-ops are better for the government to deal with, if those private companies get bailed out, they should be required to turn into worker co-ops. Like if we're going to use public money to do this, then yeah, we should introduce democracy into the workplace that way. Oh, he called you a bitch? Yeah. Don't harass my mods. How about that? Do worker co-ops suggest certain job types? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Do you mean like the co-op can assign you jobs? I need more clarification on that question. But I do think one of the big advantages of this model is it gives less of a reason to fear automation. with worker co-ops, if you automate the workplace, everyone who currently works there benefits from the existence of that automation and the profits that that automation brings in. So with those profits, you could lower the amount of time worked per week for employees, or you could increase the amount of pay. There are a lot of really cool things we could do when it comes to automation if the profits of that automation are equitably distributed around the company. Can I give more examples of a successful worker co-op? Yeah, one of my big go-tos tends to be Ocean Spray. It's the cranberry juice company. They're a worker co-op, and they generate around $2 billion every year. I tagged you in an explanation why I thought you're going in a reverse order of where the economic system should go. I think we both want better, but have different view of how it's achieved. Yeah. I think so, yeah. Also, Ocean Spray invented juice boxes. So if you've ever had a juice box, you have drunk out of an invention created by a worker co-op. How do you suggest dialogue with family who supported Trump? My dude, they might be too far gone. I don't know how to rationally reach these people, so I'm not entirely sure how to advise you, to be honest. I guess I would give it your best shot. Try not to be try and like emotionally distance yourself from the conversation so you aren't the one freaking out. And if you're gonna approach them about it, do so in a way that is kind and gentle. But I wouldn't expect them to be swayed by facts, especially if your facts are coming from mainstream media, stuff like that. Hey, a viewer has made me aware that your Discord link for Discord is not working. Well, then I will update it. I'm sorry for that, everybody. I don't know why it keeps... Oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Just going to generate a more permanent link and update that in Nightbot real quick. But yeah, please check out, if you're interested in anything that I've been talking about, check out that link that Revolt Rise posted in chat here. Revolt Rise, extremely intelligent gentleman. Yeah, it's, here we go. Okay. So I found out the issue with the Discord link. It was previously set to expire every day. Now it is set to expire never. So feel free to join. The Discord link from Nightbot should be fixed. So anytime you use that in the future, it should work. Slept like a drunk baby Saturday and Sunday night. It was amazing. I'm glad you had a good sleep, comrade. I see a lot of facts don't care about your feelings, but the facts have no context. Yeah. I swayed my grandpa with pure statistics. He still wavers since he's short-term memory loss, but I nearly always break through to him. Well, that's good. I'm not gonna say don't try and reach these people. I just don't have good advice, because a lot of what is going to reach a lot of these Trump supporters isn't necessarily going to be the same as a whole. I don't like grouping people like that, too far gone. Well, I just mean, like, as a general rule, like, I don't know how to reach someone who's a QAnon supporter, right? Like, if you're completely divorced from reality, I can't use facts from reality to bring you back unless, like, I'm, I can't, I don't have good advice on that front. I'm not going to say it's not worth a shot, ever, because the entire purpose of this channel is improving the world and making the world a better place. I want to get so big that we can affect positive change in the world. So I'm never going to tell you not to try. You should always try. But I just don't have good advice, if that makes sense. Do you worry about the U.S. deficit at all? Currently for 2020, $3.1 trillion in 1 year. Yeah, I mean, I do worry about that, but I'm also not a big econ person. But that being said, like, largely I think that these are problems we could fix if we wanted to. We just generally don't want to fix them, right? Like Republicans will make their entire platform for like 12 years about the deficit, and then come into power and absolutely blow a $3 trillion hole in it, right? Like, I just generally think that it's not as big a deal as people make it out to be. But we need to do something about it, and I largely think that the deficit would be fixable if we actually use this in ways that benefited people on a tangible level, or used our policies in a way that benefited people on a tangible level. Which mods can I send a link to? Any of them. Alternatively, convince them to Trump or bust, that the Republican Party screwed him over and that they shouldn't support them anymore. True. Okay. It was nice of you to join, J-Boy G. I enjoyed having you in chat. Hope you come back, okay? Republicans don't do shit. I'm big on deficits. I miss my man Ron Paul. Ron Paul wasn't going to do anything about it either. Public debt secured with treasury bills and payable in dollars. The debt is not a concern within reason. Yeah. Let me put it this way. While I acknowledge that the deficit is a huge concern, I don't necessarily think it is a good enough reason for us not to do things that tangibly benefit people in this country. You know, I don't think it's a good excuse for denying people healthcare or food or shelter. Like, these are things we could fix with a fraction of our budget. Oh, did you put it into slow mode? You can take it off slow mode now. Gonna go make dinner, but I'm hosting your stream. Well, thank you very much. I don't know what this is. Am I gonna regret watching this?
Let's make the U.S. great. Join the queue and help the dawn fight the deep state. So elusive, it's like they don't exist. So MAGA, raise your fists as you read obituary lists. Where we go one, we go all to the...
Wait, Teo, what? You just left a stream where a Quest speaker said that women shouldn't be allowed to vote because we vote based on how good-looking people are? Oh no. Get out while you still can. Let's see. Oh, wait. Ron Paul is 80 plus years old and still runs a YouTube daily show about deficits and the value of money. He's not a neocon shill, just saying. Debt leads to inflation. Wages don't rise with inflation. We also pay $300+ billion in debt a year. Wasted money. I'm sure you can all think of plenty of uses for $300 billion. Oh, I 100% agree. My main issue is that Ron Paul generally doesn't vote the way he talks. That's my issue. Ron Paul tends to only suddenly find his principles about the deficit when it comes to denying programs that would tangibly improve people's lives. That's my issue with Ron Paul.
grave.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that?
No, long leg Homo sapien. I am a new streamer. I only started streaming like a month ago, and I'm extremely excited about how this is going. What is IRI raid? I don't know what that means. I'm Babby. I'm a Babby streamer. Oh, I'm really important. Okay, forgive me. Who is I'm really important? Because I don't know anything about this person. Okay, clearly they thought I was worth raiding, but I don't know who this person is. I'm really sorry. He's how you got here. I mean, probably. But I appreciate you being here, long-legged Homo sapien. Um, I'm really important. Who's I now? Now I need to look up who this person is. Aw, this person seems cool. They got a profile picture standing in front of an American flag and shit. All right. I'll look more into it later. Uh, he's a good dude. Okay, if my chat can if my chat vouches for him, I believe them. Wait, he was with us a couple of times? Oh. News on Capitol Hill and live streams political events. Cool. Okay, I trust Revolt Rise. Revolt Rise is like my compass in these Twitch waters. Okay. Thank you all. Don't trust you? Why wouldn't I trust you? You're extremely intelligent. I've heard you talk for like 6 hours about things that I had no idea about. Yeah, this guy sounds pretty important. True.
This world is
Injection inside or almost a clearing procedure.
welcome to the march of the mindless. La da 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 da. No mask, not afraid of no virus. La da 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 da. Bring fun, bring guns, bring violence. La da da da.
I don't believe in having favorite politicians. I believe in having favorite policies, okay? I try and resist the urge to stan politicians, you know? You'll only disappoint yourself. What's this video called? This video is called March of the Mindless by Casper. And I would also say that I did promise to listen to MAGA music, so if you guys link some, because thank you for the follow, Honk Donkler. I appreciate it very much. Y'all have some great names. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lucid Gamer. I did promise before the election that I would listen to MAGA music after it was decided. So if you all want to link your favorite MAGA tune in chat, I will listen to it, and I will be miserable, but I do it for you and because I'm a woman of my word, okay? My hair is super soft. That's why I touch it a lot. Well, this doesn't technically count as MAGA because it's making fun of people who are MAGA. But if you guys want to link your MAGA music, I will listen to it, okay? Does Kid Rock count as MAGA music? No. I would literally have to gouge my ears out. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's a breach of terms of service, okay? Yes, give links to the mods. The mogs. Yes. I'm not sure if I want to listen to MAGA music, but I feel like I have to now.
Welcome to the march of the mindless.
Holy shit, I forgot this happened, guys. Do you guys remember the gun cult? So much has happened over the last 4 years. I forgot that this gun cult thing happened. Sir Fontaine, like 2 years ago, there was a religious cult that like believes in guns, and they all brought guns to church. Yeah, I need to look this up because it's totally true. Otherwise, I was tripping out. Okay, let's just see. Gun cult MAGA. Okay, I found a magazine called Gun Cult. That's not what I was looking for. Let's see. See. News. Where? It's on Vice? Oh, can you... Okay, can you link that, please? Because I need it. I need it.
I'm certain there's a God. He gave us Jesus, the most left and liberal man that ever lived. But God damn it, I hate
We'll
the
get to
left.
that, Dunran. We'll get to that.
Saying they were threatened, afraid, and terrified.
And next he gave us Donald to free the traffic children underground in tunnels no one's found. But a guy said it on the net. No wonder this world is going under. No wonder this world is going under. Welcome to the march of the mindless. La da 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 da. No mosque, not afraid of no virus. La da 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 da. Bring fun, bring guns, bring violence. La da 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 da. Welcome to the march of the mindless. La da da da. Don't like science, no climate crisis. The white ISIS with a rifle and a red hat. Don't like science, no climate crisis. The white ISIS with a rifle and a red hat.
Oh my gosh. This was distractingly listen toable, okay? I appreciated this. Thank you.